Hello, hello. Neil, is it Neil? How you doing? Good to see you guys. Belgium, greetings. Hey, Steve. Good to see everybody. It's been a long time since I came on and do a live. Denise, good to see you. Yeah, so I have a little free time today. It's freezing cold outside, so I can't get any done in the garden. Everything's frozen except the fruit trees. And so thought I'll come on and say hello. It's been a long time, so thank you for joining. Good to have you all. Hey, hey, Jody from Alaska. How's the weather up there? Happy January. Yeah, Happy New Year to everybody. So yeah, today nothing planned. Just want to come on, say hello, talk a little bit about the garden. Uh, I mainly want to focus on the fruit trees because I'm very excited about the fruit trees I'm growing this year. I ordered some new scions, so I'll be grafting more different varieties onto my fruit trees outside. So my pear trees are multi-grafted, all of them. I think I have one tree with 9 grafts, and I just bought 6 more or 5 more. So I'll be grafting all those onto one tree. So I have a tree with like over 10 grafts of different varieties of Asian pears. Yeah, I'm growing lemon starburst this year too. Every year I grow lemon starburst. I'm growing lemon starburst this year, and then the white ties. Those are my 2 favorites. And then let's see what else I have. This here I just started right here. This is called the fried chicken. It's a very popular variety right now. A lot of people in the pepper community are growing that because one of our friends, he grew an amazing plant last year. He showed it on the page, and I was like, man, I have seeds for those. I need to grow them. So I'm planning to do some cross on that. So I have the King Star Yellow. I'm gonna cross it with this to see if I can get something nice out of that. Yeah, fried chicken seeds. You know, there's a person on Pepper Lovers community. They're selling seeds, and I think fried chicken was one of them. You should check him out, Mr. Haha. He has all kinds of stuff. A really good guy. You can buy like figs and stuff and all kinds of different seeds. Jody, that's awesome, man. I love honey. You know, every time I travel to Houston, I always stop in Centerview. You guys know what that is. Centerview has a place called what was it? It's a place that sells like beef jerky and stuff like that. They make it at home, I think, and they sell honey there, and I buy them every single time. Like they're so good. Yeah, I love honey with hot peppers too. It does give it a nice kick. And see what else I'm growing this year. I planted a bunch of persimmons. You guys, anyone growing persimmons? Yeah, persimmons are some of my favorite fruits, pears and persimmons. And so every year I try to get a different variety. And this year I plan on grafting persimmon. So I did a few persimmons graft last year, and a lot of it failed, and I think there's a few that took. So this year I'm gonna be doing more persimmons grafting. Apples and pears are really easy to graft, guys. If you want to start grafting or learn how to graft, start with apples and pears because they're really easy. You don't have to wait until it's the right time. Like persimmons, you really have to wait until the plants start to grow, um, and kind of like develop leaves and stuff like that, and the juices start flowing, and then you can graft. Because if you do that at different times, besides that, it very likely it's not gonna take. so persimmon is tougher. And pears and apples, it doesn't matter when. I usually do it in like in December. I did it in January, February, March, and I did one last year towards the summer, and it worked. So it's pretty easy. So you can graft anytime, I guess. So you know, I should do a seeds giveaway because I collected a bunch of lemon starburst seeds this year that I grew. I think they're isolated because I grew them in a corner by themselves. And so I got a bunch of seeds and yeah, you know what? I should do that. I should do a giveaway. That way people can start the season with some fresh seeds and they can grow it. But yeah, thanks everybody for joining. And yeah, Master. You know, I need to get some stamps too. So every year I always do. I've been giving a ton of seeds away on the pepper lovers community, and so I keep running out of stamps. Oh, I remember Rob. Rob is cool. It's a cool dude. He used to grow a ton of stuff, and I see him on pepper lovers all the time. But I haven't talked to Rob in a while. Kane, you just started the pepper seeds. Yeah, that's. You know, sometimes I started a little bit too early, like right now. I love doing things in hydroponic. You see here, and in hydroponic they kind of grow a lot faster. And you see, look at the root system right here. See that? And there's already you know, flowering buds coming up already, and so you can grow a lot of plants in small spaces if you don't have, you know, like you don't have a garden or anything. You know, a lot of us, sometimes we live in the city. Many of us are young professionals. Sometimes you live in the city and, you know, you have a really small space. And if you can't grow peppers in your backyard, you can actually, you know, set up a small indoor setup, and then you can grow something like this. And this type of setup works great when you're growing like annual, like Thai varieties. Thai varieties are so easy. When you grow it in this method, you get a bunch of little peppers that you can use daily. And, you know, it's for those that don't have a lot of space. And it's really fun, too, because you see them grow. They grow so fast. And with doing things indoors, what I do with these pepper plants is that I cross them. I use them for crossing project. Because I find that if I cross plants inside, it's more controlled and it's easier, and the success rate is much, much higher. And you know, I've done a bunch of, you know, crossing outside too, but you know, in Texas, the condition is very extreme. So in the summer, you know, it's really, really hot, and so it's a little bit difficult to cross them outside. It's very unpredictable. Yeah, you know, when you grow them in these little cups, you're right, you can transplant them pretty easily. Uh, Growing them in little cups is great when you only have like a few plants. You know? It's easy to control. It's easy to manage. But when you have like 20 plants, those cups may not work too well because that's a lot of work. You know. Lynn, yes, cross. I hope your cross will be successful. It's a lot of fun. You're not gonna know what you're gonna get. You kind of do, but you know, like you always pick your two favorite ones and then you cross it, and you know you can kind of expect a little bit of something of how it turns out. But then you know you can give it your own name. That's your own variety, and it's really cool. You never know. You may cross the one of the hottest pepper ever. You know, you never know. uh, Kang, thank you. Jeb, I love Jeb. Jeb's a hydroponic grower, right? Jeb, the one you're talking about? His videos are so funny. Yeah, I used to watch him a lot. I'm not sure if he's still making videos. I need to check him out. But yeah, he's a great source to you know, to learn stuff from. Hello, Dizzy. And let's see what else I'm growing this year. So I grow a lot of arugula also, always, every season I grow arugula. And microgreens, that's just, I grow that throughout the years inside um, all the time. They're just great stuff to grow. You can harvest them really quick. And I do a little bit hydroponic. And then I grow a lot of fruit trees. So I've been experimenting with uh, grafting, air layering, growing from seeds. I have a pear tree that I grew from seed. It's been, I think, 4 or 5 years now. And I grew it in a small container, like a 15-gallon. And it doesn't get very big because I prune it pretty heavily. And then I also graft a bunch of different varieties onto it. So I have a really nice pear tree that is like 3 feet tall, and it has around 6 varieties of pears. And in the springtime, just that little pear tree sprout a bunch of different flowers. It's so beautiful. And so that's like one of my prized trees. I just keep it small, keep it in a container, and then graft all kinds of things on it. And I train it, so it's almost like a bonsai pear tree. Yeah, Dizzy, I did grow scorpions. Scorpions are some of my favorite varieties too. They're always consistent with heat, very, very spicy, and it's a fun variety to grow. I think I also grew what is it, the chocolate moruga. Man, that chocolate moruga is very intense. It's very, very hot, and that was probably some of the hottest peppers I've ever grown. Was the chocolate moruga. I don't hear that name often anymore. I mean, peppers, there's so many different varieties these days where you grow it one time and then you don't go back to it for a long time because, you go down the list of so many different varieties that oftentimes you forget to go back to them. But I think I need to go back and grow the chocolate moruga again. That's one of the ones that I really like. So my favorite super hots are like the Jay's Peach Ghost Scorpion. If you guys have not grown that, you should try it. It's awesome. I love that thing. Uh, I've always loved the Reapers because it's a very beautiful plant. It has amazing pods, and with the stinger, it's kind of small, but it has a round shape with the stinger. Those are the ones that I like. So I have seeds for the ones that I've been kind of like saving over the years, and it usually comes out very consistent. Because a lot of the Reapers that I see that they sell like at Home Depot and stuff like that, I bought a few plants, and when I bring them home and I grow them, they don't really have Reaper shapes consistently. And so I like to grow it for my own seeds. And then I always love Scotch bonnet, and so I grow a bunch of those as well. And of course, always the lemon starburst because it's my own creation, and it tastes great. It looks beautiful. I made a bunch of hot sauce out of those things recently, and I gave it all away to a lot of families, and they want more. So I need to grow more of those in the coming months. So I'm starting the seeds right now. So the seeds is going into the dirt. I think I have 5 different varieties selected. So I think I'm going to grow maybe 10 or 15 varieties this year. I'm cutting back because I'm running out of space. Oh, Senate, that's great. The Gangster's Paradise from Rob, man, that's been a while since I heard of that name being spoken of. Yeah, Rob is awesome. I wonder where he is. I need to talk to him again. Um, he hasn't been on for a long time. I don't think. Oh yes, and this year I'm growing figs, a lot of figs, guys. So over the past few years, I've been slowly collecting different varieties of figs, and figs are so easy to grow. You can just chop a branch. You don't even have to plant them. I one time I chopped a branch and I threw it in my compost and it grew. And because I saw that it grew, I kind of felt bad, so I took that branch out and grew it into a really big tree. But yeah, figs are really easy. Just cut a few branches, put it in soil, and then they just sprout new leaves, and you can grow that into a big tree. They grow very fast. So for figs, I have the Desert King that I really love. Let's see, the Ron de Bordeaux is also another one I really like. The Violet de Bordeaux, I think that's another one. And then the Black Madeira. Those are the ones that I'm growing right now. Oh wait, actually, I also have the Brown Turkey and the Celeste figs. Those are very common, and so you can find those anywhere. Yes, Frank, you're right. I am very picky about fruit trees in Texas because, for example, I think I'm in zone 8A or 8B. And so there's many varieties that would not survive the winter here, like the oranges and stuff like that. So I can't grow those. The lemons could grow, but man, for the past few years, we have these really crazy freezes, and it keeps killing all of those trees. And so if I don't go outside and cover them up, they just won't survive. So you're right, I do. I'm very picky. So I grow Asian pears, some European pears, persimmons, because those can live down to -5 to 10 degrees Fahrenheit, and they're just fine, no problem. The reason I love to grow pears is because, sometimes I don't have a large space in my backyard, and I want to be able to grow a ton of different varieties of pears. And because you can graft onto pears, you can have like me right now, I have 10 different varieties on one tree. And so instead of growing 10 trees, I just grow one, and I have 10 varieties on it. And so that's one of the reasons why, I really love growing pears. And then persimmons are the same. I love persimmons. They're very productive, sweet. I just started doing a lot of, like at the end of the season when I harvest persimmons, and if I can't eat them all, I'll do I dry the persimmons, and then you can save it for like months as dried persimmons and eat it throughout the winter. Man, that's so good. Just have dried persimmons and what is it, chrysanthemum tea, and then you can also use the peel. I just made a video recently. You can use the persimmons peel, you dry it up, and then you can add it to your chrysanthemum tea, and man, it is amazing. So I bet it's also pretty healthy too. So you guys should try that. It's awesome. Grow a persimmon tree. If it produced too much, you can give it to your neighbors or your friends, and if they don't want it, you can just dry it up. And all you do is just skin it and then hang dry. That's it. Let me see if I missed any questions. Yeah, Dizzy, you're right about the reapers. They're very pretty, and it's just a nice looking plant to grow. On top of being the hottest, of course. But I grew the reapers not because it's the hottest, and I can't handle that much heat, but I just love how pretty it is. Yeah, Frank, I think figs can do well in many climates. Sometimes if the figs can't handle the freeze for too long, it'll just die back, and then at the bottom, the root structure is still alive, and then it'll grow right back. So speaking of which, I know, some people ask me like, hey, why don't you graft figs? And the reason why I don't graft figs is because there's certain varieties that are not very cold tolerant. And so if we have freezes, like we have right now, we have a week or longer of freezes under, like it goes down to like 12, 13 degrees Fahrenheit. And sometimes those thick varieties can't handle it. They just die back. And then if the branches die back, that's it. The graft is gone. And then when the root structure grow back, it just grow back the original tree. So you lost the grafts. And so that's the reason why I don't really like to graft figs, unless you have, varieties that can withstand, your climate and will not die back. So if you're gonna graft figs, make sure the varieties can withstand the climate that you're in, and it will not die back. That way you don't lose the branches. Also, I have a property up North Texas, and we have wild persimmons. Oh man, you guys, wild persimmons are much different than the Asian persimmons because they're very astringent, and if you eat them at the wrong time, oh my gosh, your mouth gets so dry that it becomes like, it's almost like somebody's just sucking all the moisture out of your mouth. And you don't want to eat that. And if you eat that, you may think like all persimmons taste that way, but they but they don't. Asian persimmons are very, very sweet. The non-astringent kind, like the fuyu and all that stuff. They also have the astringent kind, which is like the what is it? The hachia, the tananashi, the giambos, and stuff like that. Those are the ones you really have to wait until they become soft and mushy, and you can eat them with a spoon. But when they become soft and mushy, they're so sweet, like candy. It's like nothing you have had before. It's just ridiculous. But if you eat them early, you're gonna have that dry mouth taste. So for the astringent kind, what we usually do is we harvest them when they're still kind of hard, but the orange color, and then we tie them to a string and just hang them dry, and all the astringency, or is that how you say it? It'll all fade away. It becomes dry persimmons, and it tastes amazing. So yeah, persimmons are definitely good for Thanksgiving. I think that a lot of people make jams out of them, like persimmon jam. Those are great. Okay, I'm reading the comments to see if I missed anything. Yeah, okay, guys. Yeah, we have 18 people in the chat. Thanks for joining me. I haven't seen any questions that I can answer you guys. That's good. Let's see what else I'm growing this year. I grow a lot of herbs also. I always love Thai basil. Those are easy. Basil, guys, if you grow basil, you can just clone it over and over and over and over again. You have like unlimited supply of basil. I think I did a video on how to do that. So if you guys just want to check it out, you can do it inside too. Just indoors, just get a little lamp and mix hydroponic nutrients. And then, when you chop off the branch of your basil, take off all the leaves and put the branch back in water, it sprout roots, and then you can start all over again. Hey, buddy, the swear word, guys. If you have not subscribed to the swear word channel, you guys should check it out. The content is amazing. I love the interviews that he always has with really good growers, sauce makers. He does sauce reviews. If you're into spice, like hot sauce, growing peppers and stuff like that, definitely subscribe to the swear word. I was on there before, so make sure you watch my video. I was on one of the interviews. Frogstock, hello, sir. Good to see you. Thanks for joining me today, guys. I'm just killing some time right now. The kids are at a birthday party. That's why I'm free. Today we didn't have any soccer game. Usually we have soccer on the weekends. I'm usually pretty busy. Perilla, yes, Frank. Perilla and basil, those things are like, they grow like weeds. Perilla. There's multiple different kinds of perilla. Perilla is the name, but I think in Japan they call it shiso. Shiso is it's pretty cool. It's there's a Korean shiso, there's a Japanese one, there's a Vietnamese one, which is a purple kind, I think. There's ones that has purple at the top and green at the bottom. I grow those as well. And there's ones that's purple at the top and purple at the bottom. The Japanese kinds, sometimes they call it beefsteak plant. They're huge. They're the size of your hand. And they use that to use for decoration to put sushi on top, but you can eat them. So if you go to sushi restaurants and there's this green looking leaf, that looks like a pepper leaf, and they put sashimi on top. Those are shiso or perilla. So yeah, if you don't know, if you're wondering, that's what they are. uh, yeah, I mean there are some Thai basil, the purple basil. I think they call it the cinnamon basil. I think. But yeah, perilla. I grow a bunch of perilla. The problem with perilla is that once you grow them and you allow them to go to seed, you will have them forever. I mean, every season in my garden, they just come back. I never have to grow them because at the end of the season, I just let one plant go to seed, and then the seed just fly, and it'll grow right back. But you have to be very careful with perilla and shiso. I think they're toxic to cattle, and so if you grow them, make sure you grow them in a controlled area where there's no animals can eat them. Yeah, I think they're toxic to cows. That's what I heard. I'm not sure, but someone mentioned that. Yeah, and I actually read it. I looked it up online because I was curious, and it did confirm that if cattle eat it, it could be toxic to them. So if you do grow them, make sure you grow it in a controlled area where they can't spread, because they do spread if you let them go out of control. They're crazy plants, and they have very short roots. So they usually hover above the soil level, and it will compete for all of the other from other plants. It'll suck up all of the nutrients from the surrounding plants, and it'll grow so big and tall, and it'll shade out everything else also. And it does very well when it grows in a bunch of them together in a small space. It'll just grow straight up, and then everything around it would die. Oh man, in the is that Pennsylvania? Yeah, I heard there's the snowstorm is hitting the central and the north pretty badly. So you guys are where if you guys are from the central and north, how bad is it right now? What's the temperature? Like in the teens? It's frozen? Brandon, the swear word. What peppers and fruit am I most excited to grow this year? Man, so let's see. The fruits that I'm very excited to grow every year is pears and persimmons, and I'm so excited about them because I actually bought some scions online that I can graft onto my tree, so I can get more different varieties. And so that I'm very excited about that. I bought 6 different types of varieties of trees online, guys. So you can buy scions online if you're curious, and then you can graft them to your tree, and now you have multi-grafted trees. And again, for the peppers, what I'm excited about this year is I just created a new variety called the Death Star. It's basically a cross between a Sriracha and a Death Spiral. And the Death Spiral is one of my favorite variety of pepper. It's so interesting. It looks pretty cool. Actually, I have a few. I have a few over here. Let me show you. Here is the Death Spiral that I was growing. You see? Look at this, guys. They call it the Death Spiral because it has that little spiral. It's really neat. I cut it open because this is how I preserve seeds when I'm lazy. I just cut it like that so the peppers don't rot. And then when I do it this way, the seeds actually last longer because it's still inside, the pepper. And this is the Death Spiral right here. Isn't that cool? It has little spirals around the peppers. It looks super, super nice. And oh my God, it's crazy hot too. It's very, very expensive. I mean, not expensive, but very, very spicy. It smells so good. Oh man, it has that crazy heat smell. It's like the fume just hit up in your nose. Yeah, so that's what I'm really excited about. I'm about to get seeds for those for the F1. and I can't wait to see what it's going to look like. And the Death Spiral is actually inspired by one of our members on Pepper Lovers. He's like, hey, Ken, you should cross these two varieties and call it the Death Star. And because I love Star Wars and all that stuff, I'm so geeked out by it. And I was like, man, that's a great idea. And so I had to do it. And so it took me like entire last season to get a successful cross, because I grew the plants outdoors, and if you guys know, this year we had 5 months of drought in Texas, like no water, no rain at all. And so the plants were just drying up and dying. And so when I tried to cross it outside with 105 degrees Fahrenheit, all of the flowers fell off. And then finally, towards the end of the season, once we got rain, the temperature got cooler, I crossed it and it worked. And so I'm waiting for the seeds right now. It's about to be ready, and then I will be growing that for the next season. So yeah, I'm very, very excited about that one. And then I'm gonna cross another one. This is I mentioned earlier, but for those that haven't seen it, this is called the fried chicken. And I originally got the fried chicken seeds from a friend on Pepper Lovers community. And I think it's a cross between a 7-pot, what is it? Jay's Peach Ghost Scorpion cross with a 7-pot bubblegum orange. And that's how they make the fried chicken. Or that's what I was told. So correct me, please, if I'm wrong. But that's what the seed that was given to me was, I think it was F2. I got the seeds a long time ago. And so once this grow out, I'm gonna cross it with one of my other variety over there, called the King Star Yellow. And that's a beautiful variety that tastes really good. It's huge peppers, and it tastes like a Scotch bonnet, but it has a much more intense heat. Really, really nice. And then I'm also growing the Sriracha Hornet too. Again, so those are some of my favorite varieties that I can't wait to grow. I'm planning to grow less, but focus more on quality of the plant this year. So we see how that works. I usually keep on adding varieties throughout the year, because every time I see something, I was like, man, I need to grow that one. And then I'll go get seeds for it, and then I'll try to grow it in hydroponic to kind of like rush it. Frank, that's a good problem to have, my friend. I'm glad your business is doing well. You're right. Sometimes you get carried away. Life takes you away from gardening. But I always try. I work in IT, and so there's a lot of stress. You're always dealing with machines, PCs, and all that stuff. And sometimes it's just good to like kind of get away and go into nature and get your hands dirty. It kind of relieves a lot of the day-to-day stress. And of course, you have children; they take a lot of your time. And so every time that I get free time, a little time, I go out in the yard and I start, digging, grafting, planting, digging in the dirt, getting dirty. I think that's like my favorite things to do. It does help a lot. I think and also when you're planting something, you kind of like you're very proud of it, and then you also get very anxious to see the results, and so it all of that kind of keep your mind away from other things. But I think also by just spending time in the garden, it's just you kind of exercising, getting some activities going, and so it keeps you a little healthy too. And of course, you're eating the best things that you grow by yourself, and that's also a plus. And so I always try to make time, even though sometimes I don't have as much time as I used to, but I still try my best to get some kind of time to plant stuff. Have outdoors. I remember those times that you always tend to get carried away, and you tell yourself I'll grow maybe 5 varieties, and then you end up with like 25 varieties. And then, there's varieties outside, and then sometimes I grow it inside. And then, in my office, I have a few more plants. I just put a little lamp right there, and then I plant stuff like this, like just like this. And then every day, every once in a while, I just look over to see if it's sprouted fruits yet. And I probably looked at it like an hour ago. Jim, thank you so much, my friend. Yeah, I'm glad to hear that. I put a lot of effort into basically everything that I do. And so even with gardening, even picking varieties to cross, there has to be a reason, why I want it. Is it because it tastes great, or is it because it looks great, or because I was inspired by something, or someone? And then that makes me want to do it. And so when I cross like for example, the lemon starburst, the reason I do that is because they're two of my most favorite varieties. And I was like, man, you know what? I need to cross these two because I love them. I want to see what comes out of this, and it has to be something nice. And so I crossed it, and amazingly, it came out with the lemon starburst. And then when I start growing the lemon starburst, I grow a bunch of them. They started showing up with different colors, and so you get the scarlet rose and the peach star case, and that's how I got those. Just in case you're wondering. Argentina, hello, my friend. The beautiful Argentina. I bet the weather is nice there right now, isn't it? Okay, let me read some of the comments just in case I forget to answer your questions. Moro, so you cross some varieties. The F1. So basically, when you have a successful cross, the seeds from that pod would be considered the F1. It could be very close to the parent. Sometimes they turn out different. Uh, you know, it's going to be a variety of its own. So it's definitely going to look a little, maybe a lot different from the parent. Depending on what varieties you cross, there's certain traits that are considered primary. Like for example, red. If you cross a red pepper, you usually gonna get a red when on your F1. And so it's still gonna retain a certain traits from the parents, but it's gonna look different. And of course, it's always gonna keep changing. F1, F2, it's going to continue to change or look different. And so what you do is you grow, like a bunch of them, and then select ones that are, that match the criteria that you're after. And so say, for example, you like the red color, or you like the certain shape, certain size, certain taste. And so you collect the seeds from the ones that you like the most and grow a bunch more. And then, once you get those bunch more, and you're like, wow, it's starting to become more consistent. And now you can, do selective, selections of ones you like the most, and again, continue. Crossing is a very time-consuming project, but it's very fun and rewarding because you get to name your own plant. And the reason I was very successful at crossing and growing different varieties, is because I utilize hydroponic and also indoor growing, and also growing in small spaces. Because when you grow in small spaces, you can fit more plants. And also when you grow indoors, you can fit more generations in one season as opposed to growing outside where you can only grow one generation per season. Thanks, Jim. That is funny. Mama, yes, the white Thai is my favorite variety. It is so beautiful, especially when when it grows, and then it produces those clusters of pods, and then they have like, the white color, and then have the shade of purple, and then once they start to ripen up a little bit, it changes into like a pearl color. Man, those are just so nice, and that's the best time to eat them when it becomes like a pearl color. But if you wait until it turns red, it kind of gets a little softer. It's not as crunchy, it's not as good. But you may prefer that it turns red because it does get sweeter. Susan, my long lost friend. Hello, Susan. Good to see you. Guys, Susan and I have been friends for like since the Google Plus days. If you guys remember G Plus, we have a community in G Plus, and gosh, I think it's easily over 10 years for sure. But those are the fun days when everyone on the G Plus were just going crazy with growing peppers, and that's all we do. Just it's awesome. And growing peppers is just so amazing because you never run out of variety to grow. Your interest will always be there because of course there's always something new. It never gets old. And then there's thousands of new creators out there that keep putting out new varieties, and so it's almost like it's endless. So anytime you want to look for new different varieties, you just search the pepper forum, and there's going to be new people that come out with new different varieties. And what I really enjoy the most is when people make their own hot sauce. Guys, the homemade hot sauce are unlike anything else and much better than what you can get in the stores. Because in the stores, it's very regulated, of course, and also they have to keep the shelf life longer. So they add a ton of salt and a ton of vinegar to keep it fresh and in the shelf for a long time. And so when you add too much vinegar to your sauce, it kind of overwhelm and overpower it. And when you eat it, you taste like vinegar. But when people grow them at home and they make their own hot sauce with the peppers that they grow in the backyard, man, the quality you can tell right away. It's different. And so I love hot sauce from homemade and people that make them. And so if you have a chance to buy them, don't think that it's expensive. Trust me, the quality in what they put is much better because they really put quality in there. And making a hot sauce is very difficult because it takes time. You harvest your own peppers, and you need a lot of peppers too. And buying from people that make it at home, it does cost a little bit more, but I'm telling you, the quality it's all worth it. It's much better than buying those sauce in the store, and it's it may seem cheaper because you go to the store, it's like maybe $8, $9, $10, and you get your own sauce. But then when you buy it from people, it could cost like $15, $20 with shipping, But it is all well worth it. It's gonna be much better quality. But guys, thank you so much for joining me. I have to get going now. The kids is about to come back from the birthday party, and so I have plans with the kids, and then I gotta do some garden cleanup. But thanks for being here. Thank you, Frank, for chatting with me, and goodbye, everybody. Have a great Sunday.